Is Gray irrelevant in 100 Years Quest? I know this is very weird for me to say, and I feel like I'm going to get crucified on the Fairy Tail fan base, but hear me out, as Gray is honestly one of my favorite characters in Fairy Tail, top 10 at minimum, top 5 at best, it depends, but Gray is a great character, all in all, one of the most well-rounded characters in Fairy Tail, and obviously a huge fan favorite, and it's not hard to see why. He's cool, he's reliable, he's a dependable friend. He will go above and beyond for the people he cares about, and he's self-sacrificing to a fault. His magic is really cool, and he's just really good at fighting different types of opponents and thinking on the fly. Gray is overall very well-rounded, character-wise, ability-wise. It's just not really hard to hate the guy. Only thing is that he strips every single time he's on screen, but I don't think people really complain about that in terms of the reader base. But what I'm getting at is, with how much Gray is an integral part of Fairy Tail, one of the most important characters in it, the deuteragonist of the story, and how big of an impact he's had throughout the course of the story, with multiple different fights and roles when it came to characters, progression, as well as important plot beats in the story of the main series of Fairy Tail, 100-Year Quest, as it went on, Gray just didn't feel as important. I'm going to get to that in a second. But before we start this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really helps and shows you guys enjoy the content I make on the channel. Fairy Tail Fridays is something I want to make a thing on the channel, and this is the next video in that series of ongoing videos. I'm still new to Fairy Tail content, so I might get some stuff wrong, but I really do hope that you guys stick with me to the end, as I am going back through the main series of Fairy Tail, its spin-offs, as well as 100 Years Quest again, to give you guys proper Fairy Tail content. But there are some things on my mind that I just want to get out before I finish all these rereads, and I want to interact with you guys a lot more. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So, what do I mean by Gray being more or less irrelevant or even shafted in 100 Years Quest? Well, the thing is, it's not just the fact that Gray hasn't had too many good fights. He's had a handful of fights, and look, 100 Years Quest is still relatively short compared to Fairy Tail. It's like a sixth of the size, with only like 141 chapters at the point of me recording this video. But the main thing I'm getting at is that Gray hasn't had any real notable fights. Maybe one or two in certain arcs. But other than that, it's not that shining for Gray. It's not like Gray is getting a bunch of character development or character defining moments or even standout fights. A lot of the standout fights are going to Natsu, Urza, Wendy, and Lucy, as well as some other characters like Loxus in the previous Doggermog arc. And right now, we're getting set up to see Jalal have a good moment. And by the time we're recording this video, Gray and Lucy's fight ended with Gray not really doing all too much. He landed one blow, but not much happened in terms of him having an important or big moment. Granted, he did help in a sense with Lucy figuring out how to end the fight, but that's where it ended. Most of the fights that Gray is in are either very well choreographed, him thinking on his feet, showcasing just how good of a fighter he is, coming in clutch as like great support for other characters, or it's something integral to him as a character in his personal story. That's something that the original manga did very well. In almost every arc, Gray had an important fight. Even if it was against a minor antagonist, it would be stand out because it showcased Gray as a person as well as a lot of his abilities. And he would be great support for other characters and be really good with teaming up. And then there were actual fights throughout the main story of Fairy Tail where he fought second-in-commands or even the main villain for a short period of time before Natsu showed up to get the W at the end of the day, as per the deuteragonist stuff. But Gray has always had some sort of moment in almost every single arc of the main Fairy Tail manga where he stood out as an important character, as someone that the fans would love. He would always have this nice bit of care put into him that would just make you want to see more of Gray, either being a badass, being there for his friends, or just having some big moment that stands out in each arc, as fans can go back and remember, this scene with Gray, or this fight with Gray, is one of my all-time favorites. And Gray's had a lot of those, like I said, in the main series of Fairy Tail. It doesn't have to be like a real big bad, it could be against another wizard, like in the Grand Magic games. He's had a good number of moments. And then we get to Tartarus, where he fought his father Silver in a very emotional and gut-punching fight. We then get to the final arc of Fairy Tail. It has a lot of problems, but Gray had good moments in that fight when it came to him and Juvia fighting against one other Spriggan 12, with a character-defining moment for both of them, and Gray just getting the win out of, you can say, plot necessity, but it showcases how much he cared for Juvia and his friends, and that he pushed through something very, honestly, very tough odds to get a instant win due to how things are in Fairy Tail, but it showcases the strength of his character. And even by the end, at the very end of the series, he even goes off to try and even save Natsu from dying against Zeref, because Natsu is connected to Zeref. If Zeref dies, Natsu dies, and Gray doesn't want his friend to die, so he goes off to do what he tends to do. He is a self-sacrificing person for the sake of the people he cares about himself, and he wanted to use Lost Ice Shell to seal away Zeref forever, at the cost of people forgetting who he was, making it so he never existed in the first place. Now, you can say a lot about how Gray learned this Lost Magic Ice Shell combo in the first place. We can just say plot necessity, and he did it off screen during the 1 year time skip. Let's not question that. All we know is that it's a good moment, showcasing that Gray, in the toughest of moments, will always do the right thing to try and help his friends, even if it means putting himself in danger. And he's had multiple of these moments in the series, whether it be for less important antagonists, minions, or even against a main antagonist. Gray has always had moments that stood out. And in 100 Years Quest, they weren't as prominent, and it mainly focuses on Team Natsu. And everyone has had their own big moments and big wins, but Gray didn't really have that many. The one thing I could say that 100 Years Quest does very well is how Gray is developing with his feelings towards Juvia, and having that relationship actually start to slowly develop and being finalized, finally, because we can't just have Gajevi be the only full-on confirmed ship that is actually happening in the series, as Natsu and Lucy will probably never end up together unless it is the epilogue, as the two of them are just like going back and forth of will they, won't they. Same with Jalal and Urza, though that might come to a conclusion at some point. But with Gray, whenever he has moments when he thinks about Juvia, when he's talking with Juvia, it's nice to see how far that relationship has grown and how much he wants to be a better person for her, and so he can protect her and give her basically a good, happy life. And that's something I come to appreciate, as it also showcases the best of Gray as a character. He's someone who looks after others, especially those who he loves, and he basically is, without full on saying it, loves Juvia and wants to actually make things as great with her as possible and wants to be better for her. And that is a good way to progress that portion of Gray as a character, even in the sequel. But with that being the only thing of note, Gray kind of gets buried under all the other stuff that happens with the other main cast members. Not to mention introducing other members of Fairy Tail, or now Sabretooth, in an arc, and they're basically sharing a spotlight. And we're also having Jalal in this arc playing a big role, and now that Gray's fight is done, I don't know what's going to happen with Gray in this arc, as we're going through each and every one of these fights, and it just feels like Gray might get the short end of the stick by the end of 100 Years Quest. There are no demons to fight. He is a demon slayer, unless there's a big twist at the end where the demons are back, even without Zeref. There is the strong possibility that is actually a thing, but there's no demons from the slay unless he gets boosted or enchanted by Wendy's Dragon Slayer magic. He won't be doing anything against the Dragon Gods. You could do Dragon Slayers, but Diablos are friends now, so there's not really too much stuff for Gray to do and be relevant in the overall story, unless he gets some kind of badass new form or power-up that could actually help him fight against the big bads, like the Dragon Gods, or just have him stand out a bit more, have him have more solo fights to showcase Gray being a badass, and showcasing his integrity as a character a lot more, as there's only been like 2-3 solo fights Gray has had, and maybe one of them was fine and was pretty good. The others were decent at best and didn't really feel like big grandstanding moments. Even the fight against Sai from the Alchemist Guild Gold Owl during the Dargamog arc was a cool fight, but it was short-lived and didn't really showcase too much with Gray, but it did showcase his synergy and connection with Juvia, and that progressed that point onward. But there isn't a whole lot where you can say that was my favorite part of the arc. I don't see a lot of people saying that. I could be wrong, but I also enjoyed that moment, but it's not my favorite moment in that arc. Or in the other arcs that we've seen in 100 Years Quest, a lot of times my favorite moments tend to be either Natsu, Lucy, or Urza, sometimes Wendy, and the Dargamog arc. One of Loxus' best moments ever was in that arc, so you kind of see where I'm going with this. If something doesn't happen soon with Gray not just getting better fights, but also more moments where he showcases his character and his integrity as a person, it's just going to feel like he's just tacked on just for the sake of having the main cast of Fairy Tail being in this series. Because people are Gray fans and people love Gray, and I just feel like Majima hasn't been giving him the amount of love and respect that he's deserved, and that we've seen him give Gray in the main Fairy Tail manga. But that's just my opinion, spouting off what I think is going on with Gray, and I love the guy, I love his character, and I want to see more happen with him. But you guys are free to disagree and prove me wrong, because for all I know, I'm completely wrong, and this is all baseless BS coming out of my mouth. But I'm still new to this Fairy Tail content stuff, and I just want to speak what's on my mind at the moment. Free form as it will. So, if you guys have other moments from Gray and 100 Years Quest that is very good, that isn't just about his relationship developing with Juvia and him being better for her, and wanting this relationship to be very well done, and just be either fights or just standout moments showcasing more of his character and his bonds with others, let me know in the comment section down below. I love being proven wrong, because it gives me a chance to talk more with you guys, and it gives me better hindsight for future stuff for me to make for this channel, as I do enjoy Fairy Tail a lot, and I want to make more content with Fairy Tail outside the chapter reviews, which is why these discussion videos are going to be happening a lot more frequently. But what did you guys think? Do you like this type of video? Do you feel like Gray is being shafted in the current story of Fairy Tail and 100 Years Quest? Let me know in the comment section down below, and if you haven't already, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel. Well, with all that said and done, hope you all enjoyed this video, and hope you all have an awesome day.